Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Got some fun stuff to cover today and some good tools for you to use. First thing I'm going to talk about is Harvard scientists say the happiest, most successful millionaires have these two things in common: how many millions and the nature of the wealth are important predictors. So past research demonstrated that all happiness seems to rise with income to about $75,000 and then plateaus. However, up until now, wealth researchers have focused mainly on average earners. So for the average person out there, once they get up to $75,000, which means allow them to cover their rent, their food, etc., really happiness flattens out and starts to depend on a lot of different other things rather than money. But they started to look at wealthy people. Was that the same for wealthy people? So the researchers analyzed data taken from respondents with a net worth ranging from 1.5 million to 15 million or more. A 7-point scale was used to assess overall life satisfaction of the respondents, and 1 equaling strongly agree, 7 equaling strongly agree, 1 equaling strongly agree, 7 equaling strongly disagree to the statement. All things considered, I am satisfied with my life. Respondents are also indicated the source of wealth and allowing researchers to calculate the percentage of earned versus unearned wealth. So results showed that for those with net worth between $3 and $8 million were no more satisfied with their lives than those with a net worth of 1.5 million to 2.9 million. It wasn't until net worth climbed to 8 million to 15 million that respondents reported higher satisfaction. So guys, where are the vast majority of our clients? In the 3 to 7 or in the 8 to 15? Where's the vast majority of our clients? Like 99% of our clients. Over 8 million or under 8 million? Over or under? Just give me an O or a U. Over 8 million or under 8 million? We got two answers. Come on, guys. Over you, over you, over you. Okay, everybody's saying under. That's right, under 8 million. Therefore, should we be trying to make them more money? Because making them more money, going from 1.5 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, does it make them more happier? Does it make them happier? No. It does not. So in terms of wealth, now, here's the other thing. So that's the main thing I wanted to point out here is, should we be trying to grow people's money? Is that what's going to make them happy? No, it's not. But I tell you what, losing their money, does that make them unhappy? See, we have the worst jobs in the world. We have the worst jobs in the world. Can we make them happy by making them more money? No. They'll get excited, but how long does that excitement last? But if you make them 30% this year, they get their statement, they're up 30%, but then they're getting a divorce. Are they happy? You make them 30%, but they find out they have cancer. Are they happy? You make 30%, but they find out their child is getting a divorce. Does that make them happy? Does making money make them happy? No, it makes them excited. And then what do they do 5 minutes after they put the statement away? What do they do 5 minutes? What do they do the next day? Are they still thinking about how much money they made, or what do they do? Or do they just go on with their life? See, making them money does not make them happy. However, if they lose 30%, does that make them unhappy? Do they just put the statement away and forget it, or does it change the way they eat out? Does it change the way they buy cars? Does it change the way they give money to their kids? Does it change the way they go on vacation? If they lose 30%, does it change their lifestyle? Y or N? Yes. So making 30% does not change their lifestyle. Losing 30% changes their lifestyle in a very negative way. So should we be looking at making sure they don't lose money, or should we be looking at making them more money? Not losing? What's more important? If we want to keep happy clients, not losing money or making money? Yeah, we need to concentrate on not losing money. And then the second thing I found out is, which is pretty understandable, if you inherit the money, you're not nearly, or win the money or inherit the money, as we found with lots of lottery winners who are broke and sad and broken people 5 years after they win the lottery. So inheriting or winning money does not make you happy. Earning money makes you happy. So if you've earned it, you're a lot happier. Altogether, these findings suggest that wealth makes us happier when it's earned, not given. It's important to acknowledge that these results are strictly a correlation and therefore cannot say for certain that higher levels of wealth, people over 8 million, got that wealth because they were happy. Well, does anybody on the call think that the reason that these people have $8 million or more was because they're happy people? No. So I think this is BS. So I just thought that I wanted to make this point out. The people we work with, the affluent, not the ultra wealthy, but the affluent, making them an extra million next year or an extra million over 2 million over the next 10 years is not going to make them happy. But losing money is going to make them happy, and you should be spending way more time making sure they don't lose money than make money. Tom sent me this graphic on when to send emails. So according to Outcome, thanks Tom for doing this. Outcome Media study of 7 billion emails sent over the past year. There are certain dates that perform better than others. So if you're sending emails to your clients or your prospects, these are the best days. These are the best days, the green ones, and the red ones are the worst days. And they also find, so for advisors targeting business, perhaps in a group benefit niche, you'll have to be a bit more selective. Here are the best and worst days for a business to business, but this is consumer. And then the best times of day are 10 a.m., number one, 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m. So I thought this is a really good graphic for us. So anytime in the next week, don't want to send it on Halloween. Don't want to send it on first week in November. But I found this pretty interesting. Is it okay to send emails during Thanksgiving? Is it okay to send emails during Thanksgiving? Yeah. And then really the only days it doesn't make sense to send in December, I don't know why the 5th, but for some reason the 5th, but Christmas, the day after, that makes sense, and then on New Year's Eve. So that's great information. Thanks, Tom. Now, I got a comment from a great advisor that we have. He just said, geez, Mike, you always come up with so many ideas every week, and I just can't do all of them. I agree. Because here's the thing. I give you a bunch of ideas for you to do. Do I give you all of these ideas so that you will do all these ideas? Why am I giving you all these ideas? Steve's saying that he feels the same way. So why do options? Yep, options, absolutely. And what should you do with those options? Find the one good idea that you like and what? Execute it. Because having a dozen good ideas that you don't execute, that's not going to work. So just if those of you that mentor with me one-on-one on the phone, many times I end the phone call with what's the one, not how many actionable things are you going to do today? No, I say, what's the one thing that we talked about today that you can take action on? That's right, Steve. Prioritize. Find the one thing and execute it. But is your one thing going to be the same as somebody else's one thing on this call? So the reason I give you many ideas is so that you can find the one idea that fits your personality, fits your clientele, fits your target market, fits the way you want to do business, fits your time constraints. So choose the one. You don't have to do all these ideas. Choose the one that's a good idea and execute it. Make sense? So I get it. I do give you tons of ideas, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what you want me to do, right? Is give you lots of ideas instead of just one idea. Because if I give you just one idea, half you might say, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea, but I'm not interested because it costs too much in time. It costs too much in effort. I'm not interested in that topic." So I give you a number of different ideas so that you can find the one that you can make actionable in the next week. Does that make sense? And so I'm getting a lot of feedback here that people do feel the same way, that there's lots of ideas, but does it make sense for you to give? And I can switch. Do you want me to give you many ideas or just one idea on a weekly basis? Okay, everybody's saying many. Good. Super. So I'm on the right track. Thank you. Are healthcare costs in retirement overwhelming? We've talked about this before. Fidelity, this is out of 2022. Fidelity Investments noted this year that an average retired 65-year-old couple in 2022 may need a mind-boggling $315,000 after tax to cover their retirement healthcare expenses. So that means out of their pocket, not out of Medicare's pocket, that's it, over and above what Medicare is going to cover. Earlier this year, employee benefit research noted that a 65-year-old couple with a median prescription drug expenses would need $296,000 in savings for a 90% chance of having enough to cover the health care. A joint report by Vanguard and Mercer Health Benefits echoes that point, but they believe a better planning framework considers healthcare costs as an annual expense. Don't hit your clients that it's going to cost $315,000. Just divide that by what? $150,000 per person. That's about $6,000 per year they need to. Now, is this completely accurate, guys? First of all, this is an average, but even as an average, is this accurate? Are you more likely to spend $6,000 a year for the 30 years of retirement, or less at the beginning and a lot more at the end? Yeah, less at the beginning and a lot more at the end. That's increasing. But still, it's better than just saying, hey, we need to have $315,000 saved up, right? So at least make it palatable to them. But here's the thing. Is everybody the same? Is every couple the same? No. Well, in fact, we find out people who are healthy think that that's a good thing or a bad thing as far as healthcare expenses. People who are healthy think that's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, that's what Steve, you know the truth, but what do they think? If they're healthy, they think they're going to spend less or more on expenses. Yes, so you're right. They think they're going to spend less, but in actuality, as you point out, Steve, what? The healthier you are, the what you're going to spend. The more you're going to spend. Why? Why would you spend more if you're healthy? To keep up your health, number one, and they also what? Going to live longer. That's right, Nick. They're going to live longer. So would a person, instead of saying, hey, the average person is going to spend $315,000, do you think some people would be interested in hearing what their likelihood is? Would that be a good tool for them? Yes. So there's a tool that Vanguard has put together, and you can go right here, and we have the link down here, and Missy's going to post that link. But it incorporates personalized estimates into your client's financial plans with our free healthcare cost calculator. So let's take a look at this thing. So I'm going to say, Jim, and give me a date of birth, guys. Give me a date of birth. We'll just fill it out right here on the screen. So let's say they're 65, so they'd be born in what, 1958? So we'll say 0, 1, 0, or 1, 0, and then 1958. And we'll say that they're male. So what retirement age should we say? 65? Let's say they're married, filing jointly. Give me a household income. Give me a retirement. You want a 68? I'm sorry, Steve said 68, so let's do 68. Okay. So give me a household income. 120. Okay. 120, 123. And we'll just use my zip code here. So they don't have a pre-Medicare plan. The Medicare plan would be, should we do high deductible Medigap, Plan G with the original? Which ones of these should we do? The original Medicare prescription drug plan, Medicare Advantage including, let's do Medicare Advantage including prescription drug plan. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we'll add a partner. So partner's name is Mary. And she was also born, 1958. And, what's wrong here? Oh, I got a double. And she is female. Retirement age, we'll say 68. And we'll do the Medicare Advantage. Okay. And should we say they're excellent, average, poor health? Which one do you want to do? Excellent, average, average. Okay, average. And how about her? We'll just do average. Estimate cost. So this estimate is based in similar claims from your client's demographics and level of health status. It includes these costs associated with these out-of-pocket expenses, doctor's visits, hospital stays, dental, vision, and insurance premiums. So Jim, if he's in the 50 percentile, would spend. This is how much they're going to spend annually. So if he's in the 50 percentile, $4,000. If he's in the 90 percentile, $6,000. Mary, $4,000, $6,000. And what these numbers look what? Yeah, very similar to that 300,000, doesn't it? If they're 90th percentile. The 70th percentile you see right in the middle here, about $5,000 for them to do that. Now, lifetime cost, that brings them up to the what? Their 95th percentile would be 476 to 560. Holy moly! But if they're in the 75th percentile, only 79 lifetime costs, 94. So, would your clients be interested in seeing a tool like this? Somebody, let's see. Let's write these numbers down. Can somebody write these numbers down for me? So 80,000 for Jim, 95 for Mary, and let's just go back once. And let's go excellent, excellent. Oh, so really what? Did it really change that much?
Nope.
Not a heck of a lot. Nope. What if they're poor? Let's go back and say if they're poor health. Oh. Again, not a heck of a lot, did it? So a lot of this has to do with when they retire, their ages, etc. And not so much about how their healthcare status. I bet you it would change depending on their age. But so, anyways, this is a tool that costs you nothing to use. I just basically went there and did this. Is this providing value for your clients? Would they see this as an interesting tool for you to use? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yay or nay? Yes or no? Y or N? Yeah. Big picture, yes. So how could you use this then? Well, the way I would use it, one of the ways you could use it is what? Send a press release. Would you think that would be something that the news would be interested, because they're always looking for things to talk about. Do you think the news would be interesting? The local news, local newspapers, local whatever would be interested in talking about this? Yeah. And is it a tool most reporters have ever heard of, or most of their viewers have ever heard of? How many of you knew about this tool? How many of you knew about this tool? Yeah. So they've obviously not heard about it. So here's, you could write a press release and send it out to your news sources. So all you need to do is Google, how do I write a press release? You're going to find all sorts of templates for you to use to write a press release. So I'm not going to write you a press release. Why? Why will I not write you a press release? Why will I not write you a press release? Personal, yeah, Bert, I'd agree with that. Nick Offerman, I love Nick Offerman. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Don't teach a man to fish, and you feed yourself. He's a grown man. Fishing's not that hard. So why do I not tell you how to write a press release? Is this the only thing you could write a press release on? Is healthcare cost calculator? If you see another good idea, what should you be doing every time you see a good idea? Every time you see a good idea, what should you be doing? You should be writing a what? a press release. When I did this for our local paper in Rochester, they ran a front page. I just, again, it's luck. But, by doing it over and over and over again, you increase your luck. So by sending out a press release, we got the front page, bottom half of the front page talking about our seminar, and we filled 4 seminars at no cost because the local paper talked about our seminar in the front page of the paper. That came from press release. And when it's on the front page of the paper, guess what kind of quality we had at those seminars? Do you think we had a high quality or low quality when it was on the front page? They came because it was on the front page of the newspaper. High quality or low quality people? High quality people. Why? Because it wasn't me paying to send them marketing, advertising. It was a paper saying, this is something you should go see. This is valid. This is, this is great information. So you should be sending out a press release anytime you have a good idea. This is just one idea that you can send a press release on. Any other ideas you have, you should be sending out press releases. So simply Google press releases, and they give you templates. And all you do is change the topic of whatever that's in that template to the topic you want to talk about, and send it to your reporters, newspaper, TV, radio. You can also put it on social media for those of you who know how to do that. So this is the kind of thing you should be sending out on a regular basis. Make sure it makes sense. So how can you use it? Write a press release, send it out to your local news sources, or have bring a friend workshop. Have your clients come in, and this could be one of the things you're going to give them or do for them while they're in there, and they can bring a friend. Lunch and learn. Add it as a free value-added tool for your marketing. Let people know that, on your website that this is something you can do for them. If they call up, you'll actually do this, use this tool for them. Do it at client reviews. So there's lots of ways you can use this tool. And again, it costs what again for you to use this healthcare cost generator? Nothing. It's free. So if it's free and adds value, and you can use it all these different ways, guess what I'm going to recommend? That you use it. Does that make sense? Super. So today's venture on our 21-point checklist review is the will and the trust. So let's see, first of all, how much time, let's see how many people know this. How much time and effort are we going to spend on the will and the trust? Yeah, 3 minutes. Why? So I can look at any trust and tear it apart. So I've got a way to tear apart any trust and show them that that trust was done poorly or inadequately. If I do that, what have I just done? How much money did they spend on the trust? A lot. And when you spend a lot on something, how emotionally married do you get into it, with it? A lot. And who am I attacking then? Their attorney or their advisor if I tear apart their trust? Their attorney. And am I trying to get them to leave their attorney? I am not. So I could care less who their attorney is. But I don't want to get in, and it's one of the first things I cover. So do I want to get into an argument with them protecting and getting defensive about their trust? No. So I do need to cover their will. I do need to cover their trust, but I'm going to do it as quickly as it doesn't seem like I've done a complete analysis of the situation if I don't cover those things, but I'm going to cover them extremely quickly. So let's find out how I do that. Oops. Look at how tiny this is here. So we'll finish up there.
And where to go.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's not for you, it's for the kids. So does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Super. So the next thing is we looked at your will, and I did a cursory look at it, but here's the thing. Who knows more about your family dynamics? You or me?
We do.
You do, right?
Right.
So what we have to do before I do a real thorough look at your will, I'd want you to fill out or go through this easy checklist so I know more about your family dynamics. And once I know that, then I can go through your will and see if there's any things that are missing. Now, the one thing I did, though, find missing right away is what we call a digital executor. Now, do you have a Facebook account?
No, but Rochelle does.
Okay, email accounts?
Yeah.
Instagram or any type of other things online?
Yeah, we've
Okay.
got that.
Yeah, so what when you join one of those, they have these terms and conditions.
So how many of you are finding that your clients have a digital executor? What percentage of your clients have digital executors? No, I'm sorry, not your clients. What percentage of your prospects have digital executors? 0. I agree, John, 0. So is this a worthwhile thing to talk about? Because am I arguing and saying their attorney is bad? No. Am I saying that their advisor is bad? No. But they're thinking, hey, this guy is talking about something that neither my attorney nor my advisor have talked about. This guy is what? Am I charging him for this? See, it's changing their mindset about who I am and what is it about. Is this about money? Is this about investment? See, they came in with their hands squeezing their wallet saying, I'm not going to move my money today. And we've talked about the survivor's guide. Now I'm talking about this digital executor, and they all have Facebook accounts. They all have all sorts of, they all have email accounts. They all have those things, and nobody's ever talked to them about this before. So yes, it's about caring and being thorough, Bert. Exactly right. So it resets they start to think, well, maybe this guy is the real deal. Maybe he actually is here to help me. Wow, he's covering things that nobody else is covered about. Wow, he's covering things that he doesn't make money on that actually are helpful to me. Maybe this guy is the real deal. Is that what you want them thinking in the first 5 minutes of meeting with you? I hope it is, because that's what we're doing. Make sense?
Conditions and you scroll and you scroll. I mean, how long are they?
I've never actually read them. They're pretty long.
Well, in there, guess what they say? They own that information.
Okay.
So when nobody can
we might have lost it there. I'm talking about the terms and conditions on websites now.
touch your account legally. So if you die, all of a sudden that information becomes theirs unless you have a digital executor.
Okay.
And maybe you want it frozen. Maybe you want it taken down. But do you want people in there fiddling around with it?
Oh, no.
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 So that's one of the things I would recommend you very highly is get a digital executor as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, super. So the next thing we'll talk about is, and again, we'll want to revisit that once you fill out that checklist.
Okay.
But a trust. Now, you don't have a trust right now, and there's only a couple of reasons where it really becomes necessary, and that is, do you have a special needs child?
No.
No, okay. Do you have a real estate outside of the state of Minnesota?
No.
Okay. If you did on either of those, then it would become much more necessary to have a trust. If you don't have those two things, there are reasons to get them, reasons to don't. They have advantages and disadvantages, but certainly not any hurry to get a trust. And down the road, we could kind of revisit the advantages and disadvantages, and you can decide whether it made sense or not made sense.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Good. And then the next thing we'll talk about is your durable power of.
Okay, so should I be promoting a trust? No. Why? Why do I not want to promote a trust? If they don't have a trust, why do I want to promote getting a trust? Because I kind of basically said, yeah, it would overwhelm them. Yep. Also, what do people think when I start recommending they get a trust? What do you think is going on in the back of their minds when I start recommending to get a trust? Bert's got it. See if anybody else gets it. Yeah, Steve. That's right, John. They think I'm going to be getting a kickback from the attorney for recommending they get a trust. So we're already talking about them spending money. Everybody thinks trust costs thousands of dollars, which they do, and they think I'm going to be getting a kickback from the attorney. So do I really want to do that? Yeah, I always recommend LegalZoom. That's where all my clients got their powers of attorney. That's where they got their wills. That's where they got their trusts if they needed them. So, but even if I start talking about LegalZoom right here, guess what they start thinking? Do they know LegalZoom is cheap? See, and we've been talking only for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, and I'm already talking about them what? Buying something. Is that the kind of conversation? Do I want to have them thinking they have to buy something within the first 10 minutes of talking to me? No. So that's why we avoid that. If they need a trust, when should we tell them to get a trust? After they become a client, not in this conversation. So do you see how we cover it? Because we want to be thorough, and we did use this talking about the digital executor to let them know there's things that they need but do not have, and the professionals in their lives have never covered those things. But I don't want to be talking about buying something, because when I say you need a digital executor, does that sound to them like it's going to cost them money, or that they just need to really appoint somebody? They just need to appoint somebody. See, it doesn't seem like when I start talking about or trust, they immediately think, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money. So, and obviously this guy's going to be educated. So we do not want to do that. So do you see how simple and easy this is? But we still use it as a toe in the door to get them thinking, my guys, my professionals in my life are not quite as good as I thought they were, because there's things that they didn't cover, that digital executor. Make sense? Coolio. Well, then we will, for those of you going to be on the script call, we're going to talk about the will and trust. See if you have any questions on this. Probably will be a brief call, but we'll start at 20 to the hour, so in about 7 minutes. Everybody else, we'll give you an easy day today and call it, but please get that tool, whether you use it or not, get that tool at least in your tool chest, that healthcare cost calculator, since it's free to you. Make sense? Awesome. So I'll see everybody here. That's going to be on the script call in about 7 minutes. Everybody else, have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.